Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a throwaway account in the relationship advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My best guy friend just told me he's in love with me. It's 2 days before my wedding. I've been with my fiance for 3 years and engaged for a little over a year. My best friend and I have known each other since freshman year of college. This morning, I woke up to a long text from my guy best friend that he had sent around 6 a.m. Basically, it was him pouring his heart out. He said he's been in love with me for years, but always hoped I'd end up breaking up with my fiance and finally notice him. He asked me to call off the wedding and run away with him. It said, I needed to tell you before it was too late. I just feel gross and sad. I have no feelings for him beyond platonic love. I've drafted a response and deleted it over and over. I haven't even told my fiance. I don't want him to worry about me so close to our wedding. I know I need to tell him, but I don't know what to do or how to phrase it. What's worse is that he's become my fiance's friend too. I'm also pretty upset that my friend chose such an unfortunate time to cause me this distress. There were so many times over the years he could have just stepped up and told me how he felt, but waiting until right before I'm married, like I would just cancel my wedding and leave my fiance because of a text. I want to tell him not to come to the wedding. I can't trust that he wouldn't try to pull something. I don't even know if I want to talk to him again, but the thought of losing my best friend is heartbreaking. The thought of not having him at my wedding is really painful. He's put me in an uncomfortable, impossible situation. I wish it wasn't on me to deal with his feelings for him. I wish he had either stopped being friends with me when he realized that us ending up together would never happen or had told me a while ago. I don't want to kick him while he's down, but I need to make it clear that I have no feelings. The wedding is still on, and I don't want him to attend. We have been friends for over a decade. I've been crying over this all day. I feel almost disgusted knowing that this whole time he had ulterior motives. How do I even go about dealing with this? I'm supposed to get married in under 48 hours. Edit, I'll be showing the text to my fiance after he gets home from his brother's. I won't send anything until he's here with me. Update. My husband and I got back from our honeymoon yesterday. I turned on my phone, opened the Reddit app, and saw that it was still signed into this account. So I had an oh yeah moment and figured I'd post an update. A lot of people here really helped validate the confusing mess of feelings I was having. Thank you for that. Posting here really helped me put my thoughts into words. That night, my fiance got home from his brother's. I let him sit down and then I showed him the text. I watched his eyes get bigger and his expression angrier as he read it. Of course, I started apologizing like an idiot, but he told me I didn't owe him an apology for anything. We talked and he told me he figured the guy had a crush but kept it respectful. And really, he had. We were close, but beyond a side hug during greetings and goodbyes, there was no physicality. I even let him read past messages just to show that there was no emotional affair or me leading him on. I never even vented about my fiance during our arguments because I knew better than to do that. I talked to my mom instead. So my fiance asked me what I wanted to do. I said that while it saddened me, I didn't want him at our wedding. I was afraid he would try some nonsense. We typed up a very brief message. It said, "Friend, I'm sorry that you mistook my friendship for something more. The wedding is going to happen and it would be best if you didn't attend. To be clear, my fiance read this message and he stands by my decision to uninvite you. We wanted to make it clear that it was me who wanted him not to come, not just my fiance. Knowing him, he'd probably claim that my fiance forced me to uninvite him." He read the message and left it on read for a while. I honestly started getting pretty anxious over it, and my fiance asked if I wanted to block him. Part of me wanted to, and part of me wanted to hear him out. When he finally responded, the text was so long that I had to click on it to read it. It was horrible. He called me a liar for leading him on for over a decade, said he hoped my fiance would leave me, and claimed we were infertile. It was just one horrible thing after another, and I started crying. My fiance took my phone into the other room while I sobbed. I think he called him, but I'm not sure. What I do know is that after about an hour, he came back in, handed me my phone, and told me that my friend was now blocked on everything, would not be attending, and that the best man and my maid of honor knew about the situation and would handle it for me. It felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. After reading that message, I really wasn't so sad about my friend not attending anymore, and our wedding absolutely rocked. We had the time of our lives surrounded by people who loved us, and we loved them in return. It still feels like a dream, to be honest. If my friend tried to show up, I never heard anything about it. I guess that's the update. It's not nearly as dramatic or crazy as what people hope for, but I'm happy. User Miatia said, "It is so disturbing that someone you considered a friend for over a decade could turn on you that quickly just because you don't want to sleep with them. He was hiding the real him for a decade." User Susiak said, "This has happened to me many times. It's honestly disgusting. But there was one time that made me feel worse than all the others, and it was actually when a woman did it to me. All through college, I had a best friend with whom I spent every day. She would come over to the house I shared with my brother after classes. She slept over almost every weekend. The guest room was practically her own, and we spent almost all of our time together outside of school. This went on until the last few weeks of our senior year when my younger brother got his first serious girlfriend, and my best friend completely ghosted me. I didn't know what had happened until our graduation when she invited all of our other mutual friends to her graduation dinner and party, but didn't invite my brother and me. I was hurt, shocked, and very confused. I tried to find out what I had done to upset her, but she wouldn't return any of my texts or calls. When I mentioned that we hadn't been invited to a friend of hers, he proceeded to tell me she had only been friends with me for all those years because she had a major crush on my brother and didn't see the point in pretending to be my friend now that he had a girlfriend. It was so creepy and weird to know she faked it the whole time. Did she ever really enjoy herself when we hung out? When she was laughing with me, was she just pretending, thinking about how much she hated me? She could have ghosted me after graduation and just faked it for one more event before moving back home. We would never have had to speak again. That happens all the time with college friends, but it's like she couldn't stand being around me for even one more week. What a freak." User AI Goodso said, "So the best friend thinks he's the main character and decided to speak up instead of holding his peace and getting over it sometime in the past decade. I wonder if this was really his first red flag. It's sad that it took so long for the mask to come all the way off." User Aloysius Mendenhall said, "As someone who has had feelings for a friend and never moved to a romantic level, this dude really sucks. They've known each other for years and he decides to shoot his shot right before her wedding. And then his reaction when she told him she didn't think of him that way, gross, beyond gross. If you actually love someone, truly love them, then you want them to be happy no matter what. You want to be in their life, have them as your friend, talk to them, laugh with them, cheer them on during all the good moments in their life, and be there to support them during the tough times. You don't throw away that kind of friendship with someone just because they won't sleep with you, if you genuinely love them, that is. This dude is just a selfish jerk who gives off clear incel vibes, and OP is completely right to kick him out of her life." This next post was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My dad is furious that my mom slept with other people in an open marriage that he wanted. My parents got married when they were very young. My dad got my mom pregnant and their parents married them off. My grandfather was able to set up a business for my dad in a big city, and they moved here soon after my birth. My mom grew up in a conservative southern town where she was taught to be a submissive wife. Even after moving to the big city, she didn't spend much time socializing. She had no friends and never went out. My dad was only there to provide for us. He was always away on business and wasn't there as a husband for my mom or as a father to me. My dad made a lot of money, so we never lacked anything. Growing up, I became my mom's best friend. We would talk about everything. I pushed her to make friends and find hobbies. After years of encouragement, she started going to a nearby park and made her first friend a gym trainer. Encouraged by her friend and me, she decided to join the gym. She met a few more people there and started having some semblance of a social life, but she still continued to tell me everything. I think my dad's new secretary gave him the idea, but he asked my mom for an open marriage almost a year ago. He told her he wasn't happy in their marriage and that she wasn't providing him with everything he wanted. My mom, who is a Christian wife, was mortified and told me about the proposal in tears. I suggested she get a divorce, but she said she didn't believe in it and that she wouldn't be the one to end their marriage. As my dad pushed, I knew exactly where this would end up if my mom agreed. Her friend and I convinced her. My mom was hesitant at first, but she agreed with the condition that they would be completely transparent with each other. My dad is a middle-aged man with a belly, and my mom is an athletic woman who works out regularly. I'm a 22-year-old woman, by the way. I don't know how my dad was so blind or what he thought would happen. I helped create online dating profiles for my mom almost 6 months ago. After getting an insane number of matches and chatting with them for months, my mom started hooking up with a few people. Getting all this attention has provided a massive boost to her confidence, and she seems happier. My dad hooked up with his secretary almost immediately. He's had very little luck with other women. With their transparency agreement, my mom tells him about all her hookups. A few weeks ago, my dad screamed at my mom over some minor issue. Usually, my mom would have apologized, but with her new confidence, she didn't back down. It's been constant fighting for the last few weeks. My dad keeps starting arguments by making snide remarks about my mom's clothing or appearance. He almost called her a whore, but stopped himself. I think the concept of an open marriage finally sunk in for him. My mom told me he tried to have a conversation about stopping their open marriage, but she immediately shot it down. I think they'll split up. My dad was never there for either of us, but the thought of my parents splitting up still feels weird. I don't feel bad for my dad, but I wish he had put more effort into his family. I'm happy for my mom though. Update. A few days after my previous post, my dad left our home and had a divorce served to my mom within a week. My grandparents didn't know about any of this, but my dad told them when he served the divorce papers. He also implied to them that my mom was cheating on him. Both sets of grandparents came to our home and started berating my mom. I kept screenshots of all my parents' communications, and when my mom showed them to the grandparents, things got much worse. They started fighting with each other, blaming each other's children for causing all this. A few days later, my mom's old church friends came to our home. Back when my mom used to go to church, they looked down on her for being from a small town. My mom has always been a very caring and non-judgmental person, so she disagreed with their bigotry and they began excluding her from their activities. After she met her gym friends, my mom stopped going to church entirely. These church friends started calling my mom a and she kicked them out. My mom is currently on a cut, so she has very defined abs and arms. Along with all the normal insults being thrown at her, my grandparents accused her of having a man body, and she also faced a lot of random transphobia. Her trainer friend has been a great support through all this. She contacted the attorney she used for her divorce, and my mom is spending a lot of time at her house. It turns out that the business my dad is running is actually owned by my mom. It was set up by my mom's dad in her name, so it belongs to her. I did not know this until now and had assumed that my dad owned it. The whole situation is a huge mess right now. Dad is living in some hotel, and my grandparents left yesterday after a week of fighting and trying to force my parents back together. I know there's a lot more divorce drama to come, but I hope it calms down for now. User SimIJ said he got what he deserved and the secretary is probably not there for the belly. It's a good thing that your relationship with your mom is this strong and that she has become so much more confident. User Can I Join said, the open marriage stories I see always make me laugh. The man begs and begs for one, and then once he sees his wife getting all the attention while he's getting close to zero, an open marriage is suddenly not what he wants anymore. Good for your mom. User Dude Abides said, this almost always happens, and I can't fathom how men don't understand this. Good for your mom. Her next step is to divorce him, take half of his money, and find someone who will love her and won't suggest something like an open marriage. Update 2. A lot has happened since my last update. Firstly, I wanted to thank all the well-wishers on my previous posts. Writing these posts has helped me process what's happening, so I'm making another one. My mom's attorney, the one recommended by my mom's gym friend Lisa, has been a great help. She walked my mom through what's going to happen and reassured her. She started looking through the company documents in preparation for the divorce proceedings, and we found a lot of shocking information. I don't know why I was surprised by this, but my dad had been having affairs for a long time. He used company resources to book flights and resorts at holiday destinations. There were receipts for many trips with multiple women spanning the last 10 years. Because he was always absent from our lives, my mom didn't suspect anything. It didn't seem like he made any effort to hide these activities. He also used the company email to communicate with his secretary about the affairs. It turns out they were involved months before my dad asked my mom for an open relationship. This is what we gathered from their emails. After months of their affair, the secretary didn't want to remain a mistress. So she started pestering my dad to get a divorce. However, they wanted my mom to initiate it so that he could secure a massive chunk of the company. The secretary came up with the idea of asking my mom for the open relationship, hoping that my mom would be horrified and ask for a divorce. They were caught off guard when my mom agreed. My dad got jealous when my mom started having After initiating the divorce, he deleted all his emails and told his secretary to do it too. Unfortunately for him, they were still stored on the company email server. I haven't seen my dad in over a month. All of his communication has been through his attorney. He apparently wants half of the company. My mom's attorneys are still looking for more evidence, but they told us that they don't expect him to get much with the evidence they have. Lisa has been supporting my mom through the whole ordeal. She also got a divorce because her husband cheated on her, so she's been helping my mom a lot. This last post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named FarExperience. The post is titled AITA for telling another gym member to wear a bra. I absolutely hate wearing bras. They're uncomfortable, constricting, and expensive. With working from home, I spent the last year and a half basically never wearing a bra and got used to it. Quite frankly, my breasts are non-existent anyway. I recently started going to the gym again and began working out braless. I should note that up until now, no one has ever pointed out anything wrong with me not wearing a bra. However, in the middle of a set of squats, a guy came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder to get my attention, and told me that my nipples were poking through my shirt. I got really irritated because why on earth is this guy staring at my nipples in the first place and then stopping me mid-set to inform me? I got really annoyed and tried to finish my set, but then this guy literally grabbed the bar as I ascended and re-racked it for me. He claimed it looked like I was having trouble with the last rep and that he had come over to make sure I could do it, then noticed my nipples. I was really pissed off at this point and told him I didn't need his help finishing my set, and why the heck was he looking at my chest in the first place? He said he was going to spot me, but then noticed my chest and thought it would be inappropriate. I pointed out that the safety bar was set, so even if I did fail the set, he wasn't needed. But he just insisted that people at gyms look out for each other and that going forward, I should probably wear a bra so other people wouldn't get uncomfortable, and that it might help me stay more balanced in my squats. I'm literally the only girl in the weight section of the gym at the moment, and other guys who were squatting and failed sets never have to worry about this kind of thing. I've seen guys fail multiple sets in a row and no one ever rushes to their aid, but I have a very slight pause and everyone thinks I need rescuing. So I'm now really annoyed and also kind of uncomfortable that this guy I've never spoken to in my life thinks he's helping me and then has the audacity to tell me how to dress. So I told him, you have bigger breasts and nipples than I do. Maybe you should wear a bra so people won't get uncomfortable and you won't fail your squats. He then got really defensive, saying he was just trying to help and called me a bitch. Honestly, I'm not sure if I overreacted, but I'm still kind of pissed off, so maybe that's clouding my judgment. Am I the AH? Update. Thanks so much for all the feedback on my original post. A couple of people said it was just a validation post, but to be honest, after you go off on someone like that publicly and receive a lot of attention, you kind of feel like an asshole, even when you believe it's justified. So yeah, I finally did start wearing bras again, and not at all because of this incident, but because I'd been dealing with depression that made me not really try to get dressed in general, and dressing for success has been a small way to try to get myself back into a better place mentally. Anyway, the guy goes to the gym roughly at the same time I do most days, so unfortunately, I did have to see him again. Even though I really wanted to grab his bar out of fake concern while he was squatting, I mostly ignored him until 2 days ago. I was deadlifting and recording myself to check my form. The guy came over and said something like, you know, sumo is cheating, right? I get this comment a lot, mostly from men half joking, and it's annoying, but I just completely ignored him. He repeated it a little louder and I continued to ignore him. I guess he saw that I was recording myself because then he asked if I had an Instagram and if he could follow me. I kept ignoring him. Finally, he said something like, see, your form is so much better now that you're wearing a bra, and I lost it again. I screamed at him that he was a disgusting, harassing piece of shit. A worker came over and asked if something was wrong, and I said that the guy had been harassing me for 2 weeks and asked to speak to a manager. The guy denied it and said he was just trying to help and that I was being sensitive. But either way, the manager asked what was going on and got both our stories. Because I'd been recording my lifts, I actually had a video of him where he commented on my bra, so the manager gave him a 30-day ban and told me that if he ever bothered me again to let her know, and she would permanently ban him. So I feel kind of vindicated, but I also feel a little frustrated that only one man actually faced consequences for this kind of behavior toward women in the gym. It's nice to see someone have repercussions for their actions, but it's also exhausting dealing with this kind of thing constantly at the gym, even if it isn't quite as overt. But I guess I'll have to keep calm and lift on. User Branch Witch said, "This really frustrates me. Some men work out shirtless and in what are basically booty shorts, but it's distracting for a woman to not wear a bra. Off. This is why women-only gyms need to be popularized." User Remruna said, "What an absolute sleazeball. If he can't concentrate because he might see a nipple poking through a shirt, then it's not his muscles he needs to work on. No one should be forced to dress a certain way to make others comfortable." And this dude thinking he can police, that says a whole lot more about him than a lack of a bra does about OP. I have fairly big breasts and sometimes wear tank tops and similarly tight clothes, but I haven't worn any kind of bra in over 2 years. It's an extra layer of clothing I don't need because I'm already boiling and it hurts my back. If someone thinks a bra affects my ability to function as a regular human, then that stupidity is on them. If they think their opinion on my appearance is welcome, then I'm more than happy to tell them where to shove it.